Welcome to the Purpose Podcast. I am your host, Gabe,
And I'm your co-host, Josh.
and today is March 2nd, 2026, and you'll be seeing this tomorrow on the 3rd. I know we're kind of late, but we had some technical difficulties on the last recording, so we're here again. And today's inspirational quote I got for you is: success is not final, failure is not fatal, it is the courage to continue that counts. That comes from Winston Churchill.
The church on the hill himself.
The Churchill. And today's topic is over homosexuality, our first controversial topic.
Yes.
This should get interesting, right, Josh?
It will. For sure.
Maybe we won't hurt too many feelings, but if we did, we're not
No,
sorry.
it's for true. So it'll be okay.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to talk about today is about marriage and the family structure. And my verses came out of Genesis 2:21 through 25. And I got to find it because I was a little tiny writing. So the Lord God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and while he slept, took one of his ribs and closed up its place with flesh. And the rib that the Lord God had taken from the man, he made into a woman and brought her to be the man, or to the man. My bad. I said that way wrong. Then the man said, "This at last is bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman because she was taken out of man. Therefore, a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and they shall become one flesh. And the man and his wife are both naked and were not ashamed." I think this proves the godly family structure that's intended for us. In the beginning, God created Adam, and then he decided, Adam needed a mate. So, he started off with, he created all the animals, and Adam was in charge of naming all of them. But then he realized that he needed a real partner. So he decided to make woman. And by doing that, when Adam fell asleep, he took part of his rib and created Eve. Then the verse goes on to say that a man shall leave his father and mother and hold fast to his wife and shall become one flesh. And it doesn't say that if a man is going to join a man, it doesn't say if a woman is going to join a woman. It's strictly male and female. And I can't see how someone who wants a godly marriage and be also homosexual. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that just because we are heterosexual, that means that we're perfect. Is
Yeah,
by
perfect.
no means possible. That's not what we're meaning here. And we can't have that double standard in life of trying to be godly if we're in a constant sin daily, or the same constant sin daily.
Exactly. No, I think you made some pretty solid points. Um, when I think of the marriage and family structure, I'm going to start off with some Bible verses.
Mm-hmm.
The first one from Leviticus 18, 22. You shall not lie with a male as with a woman. It is an abomination. And the second one coming from Romans 1:27. Likewise also the men, leaving the natural use of a woman, burning their lust for one another, men with men committing what is shameful, and receiving in themselves the penalty of their error which was due. No matter what political view, church denomination, or beliefs you have, um, homosexuality is a sin. It's wrong, it's an abomination in the eyes of God. And God didn't start the world with two men or two women. He started the world with one man and one woman. And the two of them came together. And I feel like being a Christian and also being part of Gen Z, just living in the world itself, we see homosexuality thrown in our faces everywhere we look. You got TV, stores, music. It's everywhere, and it's wrong, and it's an abomination. And as Christians living in a time where people say it's okay to be this way, or you were born this way, we need to wear the full armor of God, and we need to protect ourselves. We need to protect our family, our friendships, our relationships. And as Christians, we know it's a sin to live that kind of lifestyle.
Can I stop you real quick, Josh?
Uh-huh.
And there's one thing I want to say that some of you said that some people say they're born this way. The one way I saw this, I think I heard it today somewhere, maybe on TikTok or somebody beside me was listening to TikTok. But one thing you got to understand is when we were born, you may think that you was born this way, but the devil knows what's going to tempt you. So he's going to put all his strength and everything he can into that to
Uh,
destroy you from going to God. But listen, if you follow God, you will be born again.
mhm,
So you can't never, if you go away, if you turn away from these sins and you become a child of God, you're reborn into Christianity, then you won't be born into sin. You won't be born into homosexuality anymore.
mhm.
I'm sorry for disrupting you there, Josh.
Oh no, you're good. And yeah, homosexuality goes against what we believe. But just like Jesus would do, we need to treat them with kindness. We need to cover them in prayer, and we need to love them just like Jesus would love them.
And we need to love them even though they don't follow what we believe, and we should open them, make them feel open to coming to our churches just so
Mhm.
that they can see that they're doing wrong.
Invite them to church. Maybe
Exactly.
it'll open a
And
door.
if the preacher changes his teaching because of certain people in the church, then he is doing a disservice to you. And another disservice I want to tell you about, if a church is actively preaching that it's okay to be a homosexual, then that church is also doing a disservice to you, and you should find another one.
Right. And marriage is a beautiful thing. And I picked out some verses talking about marriage. They all come from Ephesians. I'm just gonna I wrote down a lot, but I'm just gonna say a couple. Ephesians 5:25, husbands love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave
Mm-hmm.
himself for her. Ephesians 5:33, nevertheless, let each one of you in particular so love his wife as himself, and let the wife see that she respects her husband. And Ephesians 5, chapter 5, verse 23, for the husband is head of the wife, as also Christ is head of the church,
Mm-hmm.
and he is Savior of the body. And this last verse, it came out of Proverbs, but it's Proverbs 18:22. He who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, marriage is beautiful. And me personally, I love to see weddings. I love to see when one man and one woman come together and they serve God together. They start families with together. It's beautiful and it's pure. And to know that they're doing it together and worshiping God together is just wonderful to think about. But have you ever seen the picture of the umbrella? It's got of the umbrella. If you haven't seen it, the top of the umbrella, it's got God, and and then under God, there's the husband, and then under the husband's the wife, and under the wife's the kids. The kids obey the parents. The wife teaches the family and nurtures the family. The husband provides for the family and leads the family, and God covers the family. And that's pretty much my take on marriage and family structure.
Yeah, I think a lot of our problems stems from masculinity and feminism in our modern culture. And some scriptures I got to prove the point here is Ephesians 5:25. You know, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself for it. And men are called for more like sacrificial leadership. It's more of like a Christ like leadership rather than just leadership. You know, you have to push your family to the Lord, push them to do their best, you know, teach them teach them how they can grow in their faith, teach them how to treat everyone with respect. It's not about dominance or telling your wife to go, go clean the kitchen while you sit there and watch TV and
Uh,
do nothing. It ain't about telling your kids, hey, y'all better go out there and mow the lawn while I sit here. No, it's not about that. It's just about they're supposed to keep the family pure. They're supposed to push them more toward being a godlike family rather than serving the devil.
mhm.
And our culture pushes for like pleasure, self desires, and ego because ultimately manhood is gone when integrity leaves you. And when it comes to the women's role, or not the our biblical feminism in modern culture, is Proverbs 31:25 through 31. Strength and dignity are her clothing, and she laughs at the time to come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and the teaching of kindness is on her tongue. She looks well to the ways of her household, and does not eat the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praises her. Many women have done excellently, but you surpass them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. Give her, give her of the fruit of her hands, and let her works praise her in the gates. Modern culture teaches that biblical feminism is a sign of weakness, but in reality, it's nurturing, wise, and capable. Culture pushes women at external beauty, validation, and competition is more valued than their character, virtue, or complementary. It's becoming social approval before God approval. And God has assigned a structure for us, and the devil tries to destroy it. Most people do what they see as right instead of what the Lord sees as right. Modern culture teaches us that breaking away from this structure is freedom, but in reality, the freedom is causing a moral collapse.
Right. And I think that was really good. When I was thinking about masculinity and femininity, like Nemo,
You sound like Nemo.
I'm just gonna say feminism because I can't say that word. But the verses I
We
chose,
all need a good laugh there.
the verses I chose for this, the first one came from 1 Corinthians 16:13. It says, "Watch, stand fast in the faith, be brave, be strong." And I feel like this verse goes well with both masculinity and feminism because as Christians, that's how we should live. And when I was thinking of just masculinity, I was I was led to the verse, or I was led to Proverbs chapter 20, verse 7. The righteous man walks in his integrity, his children are blessed after him. And when I was thinking of just feminism, it led me to the story of Esther. Um, Queen Esther, she was beautiful, she had wisdom, she had faith, she was courageous, she was very teachable, and she was very graceful. And in today's world that we live in, I feel like people have masculinity and feminism mixed up. Um, Men would rather act feminine, and women would rather act masculine. And women want to claim their men want to claim their women.
Or they even claim to being cats.
Yeah,
They like to pee in litter boxes. So, I mean,
they
how
claim to
screwed
be.
up are we really?
Yeah, anything they see, they claim. But it's all just a mixed up, just a bunch of mumbo jumbo. And as men, we should be like Jesus. We should be like Joseph, David, Joshua, and so many other men of God that's in the Bible. We should walk with masculinity, humility, strongness, courageousness, and sacrifices. And for women, women should be like Mary, the mother of Jesus. Mary Magdalene, Esther, Ruth, and many other women of God from the Bible. Walk with beauty, walk with grace, walk with wisdom, faithfulness, obedience, and feminism.
I agree. And like I said before, I feel like the roles are getting switched up and it's making the homosexuality trend go up.
Mm-hmm.
When people see this in the culture, and you got like celebrities, politicians, whatever, they see these people as role models, and they see these role models. They're pushing more for these ideologies here
Yeah,
and these ideals, and it's not right. But it
yeah.
just proves that the world is evil, and not everybody is following Christ or following the right word.
Mm,
And I'm hoping during this when we post this podcast, I'm hoping somebody who may be dealing with something like this, I hope they get inspiration from what we're saying here.
mm,
Because I've had a friend who's our old friend. I haven't talked to her in a couple of years, but me and her was really close, and she came out as lesbian. As somebody I've known since we were 4 or 5 years old, I still love her as a friend, but I don't support what she does. But at the same time, it's about treating everybody equally, treating everybody with kindness and fairness. So I'm she knows she went to church. She can go to church and she'll know the truth. So there's nothing really I can say that can that could just persuade her either way.
yeah.
It's her decision.
She knows the truth. We just gotta pray for her and pray that God opens her eyes.
Hmm.
Uh, she won't be tricked into the devil's thinking.
And
Cause
another thing is the devil tries to push this as a way to divide people,
uh-huh.
and it shouldn't be like that. Just because we don't agree with something they do doesn't mean that we can't be in harmony with them. I think that we should encourage them to follow Christ, pray for them, tell them we love them, but it's their decision. It's their decision to take up Christ. It's their decision to go to church. It's their decision on the way they live. So there's not much that we can say besides just telling them or just praying for them.
Mm-hmm.
But another impact that is an issue is a social media impact. And I think social media definitely has an impact. And one of the reasons why I think kids are joining social media at such a young age and they're getting exposed to this stuff so early on. So I can't really blame parents for not wanting their kids to have phones early. I can't blame them for not wanting to have social media, gaming, whatever, because they're getting exposed to horrible stuff. They get exposed to cussing, ugly talk, vulgar, shooting, killing. They're getting exposed to homosexuality. They're getting exposed to everything. And our culture shows them that it's okay to be defiant
Uh-huh.
and going against traditional living, and that it's okay to be led astray. Society in every single generation is molded into a structure that they desire. And we have to make that change now, or like I said earlier, our freedom will become moral collapse.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like social media is probably one of the biggest impacts um on homosexuality because so many people like to get on social media and they post pictures, they post quotes, they post
Mm-hmm.
everything, and you're seeing it and then you're exposed to it and it's impacting you and the way you think and the way you see things. But along with social media, I think it's also um just everything in general,
Yeah, like movies and music, yeah,
music,
stuff like that. Yeah.
television, books.
Mm-hmm.
If you read a book that's talking graphic, that's gonna
The
get
books are worse than the movies.
it's gonna get in your head and it's gonna twist things around.
Good grief. I picked up a book at a bookstore and I thought I was like on a dirty website about the stuff that was in the book.
Yeah, because when you read, you're imagining how the story is going in your
Yeah,
head.
oh my gosh.
But when you're reading something that talks about stuff like that, it's you're imagining that in your head. And then also, if you're listening to music, Lady Gaga says you was born this way.
Mhm.
Chapel Roan says you're gonna go dancing at the Pink Pony Club.
And didn't Katy Perry sing I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It?
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
and
right. Lil Nas X with the devil. He's on the pole going down to hell and he was dancing with the devil.
yeah,
Ain't that right?
yeah,
And there was
and
one of them, he was a football player and he was kissing another man, right? I think so. I can't remember.
I want to say so. Um, but you have so many people in the music industry, they promote that.
Hmm.
They incorporate it in their songs, so whenever you listen to their songs, it's going through your ears and going into your head.
And then going through your mouth and your actions.
Yeah. And so alongside with social media, it's also the things we read, the things we watch, the things we listen to, and even people you hang around because you hang around
Hmm.
somebody and you start acting like them.
You
And if
should
you're
you should always choose a friend who's going to better you as a person.
exactly, and if they're very big into homosexuality, they're practicing homosexuality in front of you. Next thing you know it, you're gonna start acting like
Hmm.
them. That's
That's when
why
you kick them to the curb,
that's why it's important to wear the
literally.
armor of God and protect
Hmm.
yourself and pray for yourself, pray for them, pray for your family, and pray for your friends.
And I'm gonna say this too, just because you know everybody has guy friends. When you're in high school, don't joke around like don't joke around like gay stuff
Yeah.
because that does lead to a gateway of not really you becoming gay, but how about somebody you're joking with?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they start getting this, oh, maybe I do want to try that. Maybe I do like that.
Yeah.
It can lead somebody astray. It may not lead you astray, but meet somebody else. And could you have that on your conscience?
Yeah. Your
Think about it.
words can affect somebody's personality.
Not even words, maybe some actions. I mean,
Mhm.
you never know. I mean, definitely through high school with, joking around with your buddies or you notice it from afar or something somebody does, just be the encouragement to somebody of, hey, let's not do that anymore. That's it's kind of weird. Or just be, hey, don't be their friend if they're doing that to you. That's wrong. Try to be try to be the good seed instead of the bad seed.
Uh-huh.
Because at the end of the day, we're led to be a seed in somebody's life to make them follow Christ.
Yeah. Be the light in the dark.
And with that, we are going to conclude the podcast. And I thought this was a pretty good topic, definitely for our first like
Yeah.
probably controversial one that some people may not like.
Especially for controversial. Maybe whoever's listening to it, they might not agree, but maybe they got something out of it.
Yeah, I hope they get some insight. Maybe they start thinking more into, is this really for me? Or maybe I need to turn away from my ways.
Uh-huh.
Because I hope this is the good seed that gets planted in their life.
Yeah.
Like it's like other people say, grass is green on the other side. This is, I promise.
It is. Come to our side.
I promise. But that's going to conclude our podcast today. If you're on YouTube, make sure to go follow us on Apple Podcasts. If you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure to go like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure to go follow our TikTok and Instagram. And also, I want to challenge anybody who's listening to tell somebody about the podcast. Tell them to go watch it, listen, whatever they want to do, and also tell them to follow our social media platforms. And always remember, keep seeking your purpose.